and I went to Cleveland, Tennessee, went to Bible college. That was a waste of time, man. They don't teach you how to minister to the homeless. They don't teach you how to minister to the poor. They don't teach you how to operate. People that are traumatized, bro, and have radical, like, things going on in their life, they need a radical message, a radical demonstration, not this fluffy, puffy, cotton candy bull crap is what I call it, but,
That's awesome. I mean, I think a lot of people have a experience where maybe you felt it at Young Life the first time, where you felt the true presence of the Holy Spirit and it did something, it triggered something. And sometimes we step away from that, but then we can get back to it later in life or stay there. Do you kind of remember kind of an experience like that where you're like, okay, God is real. This is what I'm going to do with my life?
No, I always knew God was real. You know what I mean? Like, in the Hispanic culture, like 90% of the time you're going to be Catholic. Like, even if you don't go to church, but you're just Catholic because that's just what you guys are. We were raised generation after. So, I was the type of guy, I do the sign of the cross when I pass the church, and then put the joint down, do the sign of the cross, pick the joint back up and smoke out. You know what I mean? So I was that type of Catholic, but I always knew about God, always knew he was real, but I just wasn't in love with him. There's a difference. There's a difference of knowing of him, and knowing somebody and being known of that same person and really loving them. That was the biggest change was, when I gave God a true shot. Like, if I could be honest with myself, I'm going to truly, truly, truly give this 100% shot. When I did that, that's when I fell in love. And then from there, man, it's, the dishes are done, bro. That's it. They ain't no turning back.
Yeah. And at what point did you decide, okay, I want to be a leader in the church. I want to be the leader in the church. How did you become a pastor?
Well, yeah. So seeing the youth pastor preach, man, I was like, bro, I don't know, something, when you know that thing resonates with you and you're like, bro, this is what I need to be doing. That thing, whether it was the Lord speaking to me, whether it was, I was just attracted to that. I don't know what it was, but I said, this is what I want to do. So from that moment of going to that first youth service, it was kind of a youth college service. I pursued that with everything in me. Like, I want to do this full time. I don't want to even do anything. Yeah, I don't want to. I want to work for the church, right? And this was a big church in our city, and so my chances of getting on staff were slim. So, that's just how some of these big churches roll, But anyways, and so what I was committed to was telling people about God. Demonstrating, bro. I have a saying, I don't debate, I demonstrate. Bottom line, bro, because there are some people that they'll come on talk shows and they'll debate, with atheists or Satanists and all this stuff. And they're so good at debating, but they would fail at demonstrating the power of God. And so for me, I'd rather be a demonstrator. So it was always my mission I'm going to demonstrate everything I experience. I'm going to show it, not talk it. I'm going to show it. And that just kind of led by itself to, becoming a pastor, and I went to Cleveland, Tennessee, went to Bible college. That was a waste of time, man. They don't teach you how to minister to the homeless. They don't teach you how to minister to the poor. They don't teach you how to operate. People that are traumatized, bro, and have radical, like, things going on in their life, they need a radical message, a radical demonstration, not this fluffy, puffy, cotton candy bull crap is what I call it, But when I went to Cleveland, Tennessee, did that thing, the pastoral thing there, a degree. I never finished. I was a youth college pastor for a Nigerian church, and I learned about prayer there with those Nigerians, man. They pray for a long time, bro, but it's breaking through into presence of God. And after that, man, you know, I felt God saying, when you go back, you know, start a church. And so that's what we did. You know what I mean? And that was it, man. We got into some networks and some people that, you know, where church had a specialty in church planning, and we did that for a while. And even in that, the model was plant in the suburbs. Even that was because it was a business model. What's your business plan?
Sure.
What's your business model? And I get that, you know, I get that that's needed, but there wasn't really a business plan to plant in the inner city. There wasn't, you know, that they mastered how to do church in the suburbs. No, there was not a lot of people planting churches at a great scale in the inner cities. So the networks I was a part of, they discouraged me from planning in the inner city. And there's where we just had to kind of separate ways. And you know, I gained a lot of knowledge from these groups, great guys. But bro, I had to be true to what I felt in my heart God calling us to do. And so, yeah.
And tell us about your church, Life Restored. Tell us where it is. What is y'all's focus right now in the community, and what is y'all's vision?
So we're a block and a half away from the city's homeless shelter, which has caused us some of the biggest problems politically and all that other mess. And so, you know, before COVID, man, we were doing 6 days a week ministering to the homeless. That was our primary focus. You know, what we do is build relationships and trust with San Antonio's homeless by being an advocate for them, being a voice for the voiceless, bro, bottom line. And so we would feed 6 days a week, showers twice a week, clothes. The winter, when it was winter time, we would take all the chairs out of our church and bring the homeless in and house them overnight. When it was 32 degrees or lower, we would house them overnight. And that brought us a lot of good publicity, but it also brought us a lot of pushback from the city. And so, yeah, man, we would feed like 100 every day, bro. So we're doing like 500 to 600 meals a week to the homeless communities. We had 25 homeless get off the street, get jobs, and get into their own place. And that's the vision, is to take somebody from the street homelessness to be a productive member of society in their own place, in their own home, and of course, having a home in heaven by accepting Christ. And so that's it in a nutshell, man. You know, tomorrow we're going to be giving out backpacks to the elementary, you know, an inner city elementary school. So we do some, we started off heavy, you know, kind of with like inner city people that aren't homeless. But then as the years went by, it kind of shifted towards a specific niche for the homeless community, because it just kept on growing. The deeper need was like, dude, this is the least of these. So we have a normal church. Well, it's not normal, but we have our church services, you know, where we have kids ministry. And I love the people in our church because they could go to any other church, but these guys don't mind sitting next to a homeless person, bro. Come on, somebody. You know what I mean? Most people they're not going to want to go to your church because of that. And you know, and we're a small church. We got probably about 100 people in our church, but you know, it's the impact. Somebody told me that, you know, they told us like square foot, your church has more impact per square foot than any other church in the city. And that kind of shifted kind of the way we view goals and view success. You know what I mean? So, yeah. We got missionaries. Yeah, there's some missionaries that came in. So missionaries will come in and I love our missionaries during the summer. They really help us a lot with a lot of the stuff that we want to do, whether it's building projects, whether it's cleaning up the neighborhood, whether it's, you know, we put together a field manual on how to do homeless ministry from 1 day to 6 days. I was just talking with Child Safe, which is kind of a neutral agency between the police, Child Protective Services, and Child Safe. You know, they kind of interview the child and find out, you know, so I was helping them with our de-escalation process, because some of the parents that come in, they're upset, they're frustrated. And so I'm going to be doing another call with them doing that. But so, man, it's just everything that God taught us in that Man, honestly, bro, I believe that, you know, the next revival, bro, is going to happen in the homeless community. God's big move is going to be in the homeless community, because if Jesus were here, he'd be with the homeless, bro. Bottom line. And so that's kind of our vision, you know, reaching lives, restoring hope, and getting people off the street.
Now you're getting some pushback from the city of San Antonio, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Why are they doing what they're doing, if you care to enlighten us and kind of give us an idea of what's going on?
Yeah, man. So 2 blocks away is our city's homeless shelter, which the city put millions and millions of dollars. So if you're doing, you know, a little bit something here for the homeless, there and that, they really don't care, you know. But when you're doing massive volumes, bro, you begin to cut into the funding. So a perfect example was they had X amount of dollars for blankets. We gave out 400 sleeping bags. 400 sleeping bags, bro, to 400 homeless people. I mean, massive, because if you look at that percentage wise, there's about, I'd say, anywhere from 25 to 3,000 homeless in San Antonio. So giving 400, that's a pretty big percent cutting into their grant. So they're not going to get the grant, that same amount for next year, if this guy in this little church is doing all of that. So that was the first thing that started. And then they came out and they said a church cannot feed the homeless. I said, what? They go, churches are not supposed to feed the homeless. I go, where does it say that, man? They're like, I don't know, but you just can't. And I said, you know what? So they said, the officer, the co-compliance officer said, you need to stop this by tomorrow. I'm going to come back. And I said, you know what? You do what you got to do. I'll do what I got to do. We came back. We're still serving about 100 homeless. And they came and they put the, you know, whatever, cease and desist, stop doing this, whatever. And the news caught wind of it, bro. And I'm telling you, man, we got so much support from the citizens of San Antonio. So much support, financial donations, clothes, blankets, you know, food, the whole nine. And so then I went with a lawyer, and what the city does in our city, I love the way they twist the words. They said, we do apologize. This was written in error. And I'm like, no, this wasn't written in error, bro. You're singling us out, and because this happened time and time again. And each time they retract the complaint. When the homeless shelter moved in to the west side, every other ministry that was doing homeless ministry, they booted them out with fines, with code violations, with making up stuff, bro. They're
going to figure out a way to shut you down if they want to shut you down.
Yeah, so they're like, we're coming in. Yeah, we're the big boys on the block, and now all of this needs to shut down because you're in our territory. Pretty much was the attitude. So the same tactics that worked on others, they did it to the wrong guy, bro. I'm not a punk. I'm not going to bow down. So that right there, we're still in the fight, man. We're still doing it. Yeah, so.